Allow me to introduce you to Einhorn, a summer seasonal brewed by Austin Beerworks that's nothing like the lawnmower beers you're used to. In fact, you've likely never had a beer like this before, as most breweries don't make beers like this. It's called the Berliner Weisse, and it's something special. If your craft beer journey to date hasn't ventured into the world of sour beers, your face is in for a huge surprise when you take your first sip of Einhorn. My first reaction was, what the hell is this? This isn't beer. Where are the hops? Where's the malt? This is more like some weird soda that started to ferment. What this is? Somebody help me! Luckily for me, and for you, I've got some serious backup for this episode. I'm Mike Langford, and this is Locapour, a show about locally brewed craft beer. This is Tre Miner. He's a certified Cicerone who works at Craft Pride in Austin, Texas. What's a Cicerone, you ask? I'll let Tre give you all the details, but to put it mildly, he's a badass with heavy craft beer chops. Passion, knowledge, and commitment to excellence are important to consumers in any fine dining experience, and craft beer is no exception. Having Tre on staff is yet another reason why Craft Pride has become one of the shining beacons of the Austin craft beer community.
Tre, thank you very much.
Oh, absolutely.
For joining me here at Locapour. So what are we drinking today?
It's a little concoction from Austin Beerworks. It's called Einhorn. It is a Berliner Weisse, which is sort of a, I want to call it a historic style, but it's dying out. Austin Beerworks tried to sort of resurrect it and produce it, but it's very different, especially for a German beer.
That is very different. Wow. This is a completely different style, and it's surprising the heck out of me. It almost feels like a soda, like a craft soda like that I would get at a soda shop or something.
It's got some carbonation to it. The main thing about a Berliner Weisse, which makes it stand out, is to kind of describe the style. It is a pretty low alcohol, like sessionable wheat beer, but it's been soured.
Okay.
So you're getting a lot of that sourness on the end there.
Yeah.
Generally you use like a lactobacillus or some other type of bacteria in order to generate that lactic acid that sort of mingles with the flavors.
Is the lactic acid experience that's making it sour in flavor?
Absolutely.
You're a certified Cicerone, is that the way to say it? And so, what the hell is a certified Cicerone? What's that all about?
A lot of people kind of compare it to sort of a sommelier for beer.
What got you passionate about it to that degree?
When I was in college, I graduated with a degree in political science, which obviously working in the craft beer industry, I use all the time. And part of my degree plan, there's natural science, and in that natural science, I basically just ended up taking organic chemistry. Kind of became fascinated with how chemistry works. And then eventually I got into craft beer, and sort of the two worlds began to meld. And craft beer has so many, it's so multifaceted, and the thing that fascinates me the most is probably the brewing process, the chemistry behind it, the enzymatic activities that take place when you're mashing or when you're fermenting and all that stuff. That's the stuff that interests me the most. Yeah. I decided, I love this stuff enough that I'd really like to add some sort of, what you call it, technical credentials. Sure. There's many ways to do it. I guess I chose the most expensive because those tests are not cheap. But
so now, how many certified Cicerones are there in the U.S.?
In the U.S., I'm not sure. Austin has about 9.
Wow. So Craft Pride has one of the 9.
Yes. Our old manager that used to work here, we used to curate the wall. His name's Chris Booth. A lot of people know him around town and around Texas. He's a big name, and he was also certified Cicerone. In some ways, he was responsible for me wanting to better myself as well, because he's a pretty influential figure both on me and I'm sure many other people here in the Austin scene. So.
Wow. How does a customer, I guess, experience the knowledge that you have?
I guess it depends on what I'm doing at the time. Like for instance, there's some shifts where I come in and I just bartend, and my knowledge kind of helps with people, helping pick out beer for people, or maybe explaining why some beer is a certain way, or what have you. Other times when we're doing inventory or doing orders, it helps to know sort of what's trending at the time as far as craft beer is concerned. And it helps when we get deliveries and we have to taste different beers to make sure that they're up to standard. Even good brewers put out beers that have been rushed. Sometimes certain breweries are in high demand and they try and put out product faster. If you rush a beer to the wall, sometimes you get off flavors, and not everyone can spot those, or not everyone knows what they're looking for. When I clean a line and I put a new beer on, I taste it both to enjoy it and to make sure that it's free of those mistakes that a lot of brewers can make from time to time.
You've had to experience so many different types of beers and so forth. Do you find yourself having a preferred style, a preferred like flavor range, if you will?
I definitely look towards sours, which is kind of why I picked out a Berliner Weisse, even though it's not really, when I say sour, I'm usually referring to like a Belgian style sour.
Okay.
This is unique in the sense that it's like one of the few sours out there that isn't made in Belgium.
What's a mood or the time of day or the environment in which you're like, I'm craving this beer?
I find that especially with Austin, Texas weather, super hot days out in the sun, near water, to me, it's one of the most refreshing beers out there. It's light, it's around 3.5% alcohol, so it's definitely super easy to drink, and you can kick back and drink it all day. It also has a very low hop profile. It's definitely focused more on the malt and even more so that nice tart finish from the lactobacillus. It's just super refreshing.
Immediately when I took a taste of this, I was like, wow, that is different than what I'm used to drinking. It's delicious, but it takes several sips to get into it and for it to kind of really grow on you, if you want to call it that, right? So for you to like get comfortable with it. I completely agree with your assessment of like, this is a great hot weather beer. I mean, it's very fresh, like you said, it's low ABV, but I actually think the tartness, because it's there, slows you down from drinking too fast and getting crushed, right? You know?
Absolutely.
I was struggling a little bit with what would I pair this with, food-wise.
I prefer maybe going with like something like a light salad, something with some fruit in it, so that sweetness sort of counterbalances all the tartness.
You know, you're probably right. Yeah, it reminds me of a really crisp white wine. It really does. I'm getting like a Chardonnay type of experience. So if you would drink a Chardonnay, any situation in which you would drink that type of a white wine, very crisp, anything you would pair with that would go with it. Like you said, fresh vegetables, fresh fruit or something like that would go beautifully with this beer on a hot summer day, doing a little picnic action or something like that.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Of course, absolutely.
This has been wonderful, Trey. First time ever talking to a certified Cicerone. I appreciate it. It's been great.
Anytime.